Attention all stations. Good evening everyone and welcome. Bonsoir tout le monde et bienvenue. Happy New Year to everyone listening. Wish everybody a successful 2024. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, opening the weekly amateur radio exchange group Simplex Net, also known as AREG, for Wednesday, January the 3rd, 2024. This is the first net of the new year, and this is also week 1,581 weeks that AREG has been on the air. My name is Chuck, and my station is located in East Hamilton. This net is on every Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. and ending around 10 p.m. local time here on 146.430 megahertz. Since this is a simplex net, not everyone will be able to hear everyone else. And so we also stream the net on YouTube, so people who tune in can hear stations they cannot hear on their radio, and they can hear how their audio sounds on the air, see their signal strength, and see my station layout. Just type my call into the YouTube search box, again, VA3CJZ. And look for us under the live banner, or tonight our title will be AREG Week 1581. Finally, we ask that you please try and leave a 1 to 2 second delay between transmissions to allow others to break in. May I now have check-ins for this week's AREG?
Victor Alpha 3, Alpha X-Ray Juliet.
Victor Echo 3 Golf Bravo Delta.
Go again, Art.
Oh, no copy on Art. Okay, no copy on Art, but I do hear Mac. So we'll put both you two in there. Kilo Charlie India and VA3 IMW. I also acknowledge AXJ and GPD. So let's go up to the top and say hello to Rick, VA3 AXJ. Come on in, Rick. Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year to you too, Chuck. Yeah, I'm about 100 and I'm about 95% back to normal. Thank God. Oh man, I'll tell you, I would rather have my teeth falling out than having a sciatic attack. That has got to be the most painfulest thing that a man could ever get. I'll tell you, I had 15 X-rays today on my foot, leg, hip, knees, back and everything else. But after them X-rays, when I got home, it seemed to just fade away and go, gone, finished, no more. And I feel great. Back to you.
Well, Rick, be careful you don't get angry and turn green from all that gamma ray exposure that you've gotten. I'm glad you feel better after the X-ray. It's kind of like feeling sick and then going either to the doctor or the hospital, and then you're sitting there and you're feeling better. Oh, I hate when that happens. But yeah, sciatica is pretty rough. Try a dislocated shoulder. That's also right up there. So anyways, I'm glad you're feeling better, Rick. Very good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'd rather have a toothache than go through that again. I had it for almost 3 weeks, Chuck, and it just drove me right up the wall.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Rick. Well, you're going to hang in there with us for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I'll be here for a while, but I got to get up at 6:30 in the friggin' morning. I got to go and get needles in my back tomorrow. Yeah, we upped it a little bit here, so because the doctor that does me, he's not going to be around, so, and he's the only one I want to put the needles in, so it's tomorrow morning, 8:30.
Okay, Rick. Very good. Well, when you're ready to go, if I don't get around to you, just jump in there and let us know you're leaving.
Oh, I got it here on this day. I missed it last week. I don't know if I got it the week before that or not. I can't remember. Anyhow, yeah, I'll be here for as long as I can. back to you. VA3XJ will be monitoring and listening.
Okay, very good, Rick. And yeah, geez, I don't know how to top the last two nets that we had the on this day portion. They were pretty good, but I always try and keep it fun. So hopefully tonight will be just as good. Anyhow, Rick, thank you very much. We'll move on down the list to George. Sorry, George, you're not first this time. VE3 GBD, come on in.
It's all good. It's all good. I don't have much to report there, Chuck. I'm just rounding up all the cardboard and getting ready for garbage night tomorrow night. Other than that, not much to report there, Chuck, but I will be standing by.
All right, very good, George. Yeah, I love it. Uh, Tomorrow night, I don't have to wait till, after the net to do it. I can do it right at 7 o'clock and be done with it, you know. This is the second week in a row now that we've got extra recyclables filling the blue bins up there. So, yeah, right on. Anything new and exciting there? How'd you survive New Year's? And I heard you had fireworks. How did that go?
Well, it actually it went good, actually. I only did about, 6 or 7, whatever was left over, I did them. It was kind of cheesy, I think, because they've been sitting so long. Other than that, no, it was a great New Year's. Other than I got really, really inebriated and started falling down and backwards. But other than that, no, it was great. It was a great night.
All right. But the hangover wasn't so good then, right?
No, I didn't even have a hangover. I woke up and I'm like, wow. I know I fell backwards and no, I had no hangover. I don't get hangovers because I'm just a beer drinker, right?
Well, then, George, it was a success all around. I remember one year back in the 1980s, I was in Florida and I was off work, of course, during the Christmas break. And we were at a KOA, that's Campgrounds of America. And it was also an African lion safari park at the same time. Wild times. But we had fireworks too, bottle rockets. And I ended up accidentally shooting a bottle rocket right at someone's house trailer, right at their door. But nothing became of it. I don't even think the people were in their trailer. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Anyhow, this year it was quiet for us, George. Glad you had a good time. Thanks for checking in, my friend. Anything else before we move along?
I used my younger days get in the old conversion van and hang out at the KOA. Oh, love the KOAs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good times there, my friend. Okay, George. Well, thank you, sir. Are you going to be sticking around for a bit or are you taking off?
No, I'll be sticking around for a bit. I'll be in and out, so yeah, I'll be around.
All right, very good then. All right, so we'll clear with VE3 GBD and go up the hill and ask Mac to bring Art into the net tonight. I can't hear him. I also have a high noise level. And so VA3 IMW, please say hello to VE3 Kilo Charlie India. Art.
All right, QSO, we'll give her a shot there. This is Victor Alpha 3 Indy Mike Whiskey. Ready? VE3 KCI. Art, are you there? Well, there's a chance, Chuck, that you may have heard him.
Well, I can hear him, but I have a lot of static coming in with his audio. So unless he can move right up onto the mic and get louder, I'm going to need some fill in. I think I heard him say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you there, Art. Thanks for checking in once again. But got a bit of noise over here. So how did your New Year's Eve go there and New Year's Day, Art?
Well, let me fill in the blanks first. Yes, he did give you Happy New Year's and everybody else on frequency. Also expressed best wishes for Rick, obviously, who's been going through some sciatica problems, a speedy recovery, and all the best. And let's move it back over to Art for kind of a lowdown and summary on your activities for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Okay, yep, there's the Dutch reference again. Anyways, yes, Art's still waiting for some additional help to come and hook up his new radios. He's obviously got the 7300 and the 7100 and needs to get those integrated into his shack. And it's a reminder to you, Chuck, to behave, or else the wife will be hitting you on the back of the head with a wooden shoe. Back to you, Chuck.
Oh, okay. Now I get the reference to the Dutch again. The old sabot in the head. Very good. Yeah, tonight I've got lots of noise over here. Just before the net was starting, I was getting S5, and I've got Art coming in at S5 for noise, so that is the problem. We did get hit with a very large solar flare, apparently the largest from solar cycle 25 so far. It was an M class, and it's going to be affecting us, giving us radio blackouts for the next 3 to 5 days at least. So it's no wonder even VHF, UHF is affected. So anyhow, yeah, thank you, Art, for checking in, and do appreciate it, my friend. And do you have anything else, sir, before we move along?
No, just let you know that you're coming in here at S5 6, so I mean you're coming through loud and clear, so yeah. Let me get back to you there, Chuck. Over.
All right, that's your signal report, Chuck. You're an S5 to S6, and obviously he's not having any trouble hearing you whatsoever. So Art, just so you know, you're also reaching him with an S5. The unfortunate part is that he also has an S5 noise level. Much that is probably due to the solar activity that we've been having troubles with. So you sticking around for a little while, Art?
I do. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be going to bed early tonight because I'm going to get up early tomorrow.
All right, QSL. Well, if you suddenly come upon the moment that you want to break and leave, just key up and let me know, and I'll make sure it gets announced to the greater group. Okay, Chuck, back to you, and that's all from Art for now.
All right. Well, thank you once again, Art. Maybe we'll hear Rick a little bit later on during the net, but he's still MIA. Thanks for your check-in, buddy. And so we're going to move over to Mac, who so kindly did the relay for me. And of course, that's what it's all about, using Simplex. And so it's don't feel bad if a certain party can't hear you. That's how it goes. With that, let's bring in Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey. Mac, come on in.
All right. I was just waiting to see what other new call sign suffix you were going to give me. A little slip of the tongue. Nonetheless, today was first day back in the office. So that's a good way to start the week, right? It's hump day already and only 2 more to go. So, all good there. Talked to some of my workmates about plans to go back to Europe, and we're going to have to do that. Not sure exactly my departure date, but I'll let you guys know in advance of me leaving. Other than that, my new passport did arrive today, well ahead of schedule. It wasn't due to be delivered until the 10th of January. So I'm not really going to spend a lot of time advertising that it was delivered a week and a bit early, just in case they're going to want to send me to France faster. Anyways, Chris, by the way, did mention your net on the Burlington Amateur Radio Club net. So some free advertising there. Let's see, what else is going on? The regular stuff, just the regular stuff. Anyways, I'll let you go ahead and pick up a few more there, Chuck. I'm definitely interested in seeing how you follow up last week's stellar on this day, and we'll see how that goes. Anyways, hope lots of people are awake and are just sitting on the edge of the trigger. I'll let you fill up that log, and I'll be sticking around for the duration.
Okay, Mac, very good. I do appreciate your check-in as always, and we'll miss you once you go back to you know where. Okay, well, I'm glad you survived your stop at the Giggle store. I had a chuckle when I heard that. And with that, let's see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the first net of 2024. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu with the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo.
Alpha 3 November, Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Juliet Whiskey.
Okay, that last call, Charlie Juliet Whiskey, is that Victor Echo 3 or Victor Alpha?
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey, Chris in Burlington.
Copy that. Okay, so I heard VA3NCA, V3JGK, and Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Anyone else?
VA3 BKM.
VA3 OYL.
Okay, so we've added BKM and OYL. Excuse me. Let's go to the top and say hello to Wade out in Dundas. Victor Alpha 3, November Charlie Alpha. Come on in.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 NCA. Good evening, Chuck, and good evening, everybody on net. Had to make a run for the outdoor light switch because, of course, as soon as I check in, I was about to comment how low the noise floor tonight is, and I think my motion sensor went off and turned on the light and blew you away. I couldn't hear you on the air there for a bit, Chuck, while you listed off me at the top of the list. So had to rush up the stairs, hit the light switch to get that RFI out of there, but made it back in time for you to call on me. So all's good. Just have to sit here and catch my breath now from the stair climb. But anyways, Happy New Year to you and to everybody on net. Nice start to 2024, I hope, for everybody. And don't have much more to add. I am maybe I'll have for tomorrow something that people on the Hamilton POTA Discord can try out. Something that I'm playing around with to try and get a list of any local POTA activators who have gone, who have been spotted on the POTA app. It's mostly working right now, but I got to make it look usable. So maybe something that people can try out starting tomorrow on the POTA Discord. Other than that, haven't been doing much. That's radio adjacent, I guess, but that's been basically what I've been doing today. And yeah, with that, I'll be listening along. I'm here for the duration, so looking forward to the 2024 edition of AREG. Back to you there, Chuck.
Okay, very good, Wade. Well, who needs a Stairmaster, right? Uh, very good then. Thanks for checking in, Wade. And yeah, that's unfortunate. Sometimes equipment does that interfering. But anyways, with that, yes, thank you and Happy New Year to you as well, Wade. I do appreciate your check-in. So we'll move right along and go to our next check-in, and that would be Victor Echo 3, Juliet Golf Kilo. Gary, come on in, Gary.
Yeah, good evening and Happy New Year to all. And well, the recent comment about POTA piqued up my ears a little bit. We haven't done nearly as much as Ed has, but Ed being VYT, who I was speaking to earlier today at a coffee. But clearly there's a very active bunch of Hamilton guys on there, and maybe we'll get a little more active once we get involved with that group. We have the equipment, we have the antenna, we just need motivation, especially in winter when it's kind of cold out there. Anyhow, I'll be listening for a bit longer, and then we should probably spend a little time with the YL. So back to net control from DE3JGK.
Okay, very good, Gary. Thanks for your check-in. And yes, that's the thing, motivation. But staying at home is easier to do than going out and activating for sure. But that colder weather is supposed to be coming down upon us. And even starting tonight, they're saying there's going to be a wind chill of minus 15 with the temperatures dropping down to minus 7. But the daytimes, with the cold comes sunshine. So we're looking at sun tomorrow. But yeah, if you dress properly for the weather, it's usually no problem. Especially where we live in Hamilton, we are, almost in the most southern part of the country, well below many of the U.S. states. So, anyways, Gary, thank you again for your check-in, sir. And yes, don't forget to spend some time with the YL. Appreciate your check-in, sir. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you again soon. Anything else before we carry on?
Negative, thanks so much, on 7-3.
Roger, 7-3. And with that, let's move down to VA3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Chris, come on in.
Yeah, good evening, Chuck. VA3 CJZ, VA3 CJW. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the beginning of the new year. And hope you managed to make it through the holiday season and all the temptations involved for all the sweet
birds. Yeah, temptations for sweets and me being diabetic doesn't go well. So my sugars have been up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And so I think we'll survive. But other than that, it was nice and quiet. Holidays, had our daughter and her boyfriend over, and it's all good. And thank you for checking in, Chris. You're coming in good tonight. I didn't check the meter, but you can also listen to yourself on the YouTube stream. As I mentioned earlier, I do stream the net on YouTube. Just put in my call in the YouTube search box, and that's VA3CJZ. And you can play it back, listen along, move the slider back and forth. And so it's available that way as well. So thanks for your check-in, Chris. Anything else before we move along?
No, that's it for me for now, Chuck. Yeah, I don't have YouTube on a TV upstairs here, so I've pulled it up on my phone just so I don't get lost, because being Simplex, I only hear about a tenth of the other stations. But I'll be hanging around for the rest of the net and listening in, and talk to you during the 73 round. That's it for me for now. VA3, CJW, Spin, and Bye.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, that's the reason. One of the main reasons why I do stream the net on YouTube. as not everyone can hear all the stations. And so this does help. Whatever I can hear, then YouTube can relay that back to you all. And thanks again, Chris. Take care, my friend. Till next time, we'll clear with VA3CJW and go down to VA3 Bravo Kilo Mike. Brian, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck, and all on net, and Happy New Year to all. Nothing big to report here. It was a very quiet holiday season. We have 3 adult kids. Only one was able to make it home this year, which is fine. They're all spread out and doing their thing. And I did some antenna work today, put a new vertical up that I had never had up before, and I'm hoping it's sounding okay your way. Over to you, Chuck.
Oh, yes, absolutely, Brian. I've got you here full strength on my Yaesu 857 over here by the Center Mall, just 2 blocks south from there. And you sound good, and the signal is top notch.
Well, that's good news. I had trouble last week. I had a bad piece of coax, so I had this antenna. I've had it for years, but I've never put it up. So it's just a monoband vertical, 3 little radials that come down. I've got it pretty high, about 35 feet up top of it probably. So yeah, doing good. 50 watts. Simplex is great, and I'm enjoying your net.
Okay, very good. Thank you for joining us. It makes everything much better when we have participation. And so I do thank you, Brian. Take care, sir. Have a great rest of the evening. And so let's move on down to the west end of Hamilton. Victor Alpha 3, Oscar Yankee Lima. Debbie, come on in. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Chuck, and all on frequency. It was quiet New Year's Eve here. I watched British Mysteries and had some snacks, and by like 12:01, I was out like a light. Other than that, not much else going on here. Yeah, it's just, doing house stuff.
Yeah, very good. I know we didn't even have a toast this year. It was very quiet, the wife and I. Normally we get some rosé or champagne, a small bottle, of course, and don't even finish that. Just 1 glass each, and we're good. But yeah, didn't really feel like Christmas this time around with the mild weather. The green Christmas almost all over the country, but the cold air is finally coming down, and we're going to get winter eventually. Apparently, there's a polar vortex coming down, and so El Nino is going to be pushed down further south. So, anyways, well, thanks for joining us, Deb. Anything new and exciting? Did you get any awards yet? Or I know the bands haven't been good the last few days. We had a very large solar flare, but I mean, during the holidays, or did you rack up any contacts?
Yeah, a few. I think mostly FT8 probably. I can't remember. I got the New Year's POTA award, which was a surprise. I didn't know about that award. And yeah, I think I'll be spending a little more time on the radio trying to rack up some contacts now that it's getting a little colder out.
Yes, absolutely. And I know Winter Field Day is coming up. Geez, I had the date here. There it is. Winter Field Day, Saturday, January 27th, starting at 7 p.m. Until January 28th at 7 p.m. There you go. So that'll be an ideal time for a lot of people to get more countries and more contacts in their log. I know I got my 600 Parks award on New Year's Day, and so that was nice. I was trying to get it on the 31st, but I just couldn't quite break the 600 until the first there. So there you go.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. And it's nice to set a goal and achieve it.
Yes, absolutely. And another one of my goals was to try and get the state of Wyoming, which is the last state on my 50 list. And it's quite an elusive state to get. There aren't too many amateurs that are on uh, often enough. So I still need to get the Wyoming, and I'm sure I'll get it this year.
Yeah, I think I have 6 more states to get. And Hawaii is one of them, so that should be interesting. But it'll be fun chasing the states around, and yeah, I guess field day will be a nice time to play radio. There'll be lots of activity, that's for sure.
Yeah, and another fun one coming up, especially for children or the young folk. We have the ARRL Kids Day coming up this weekend, January 6th at 1800 Zulu until 2359 Zulu, and that is for young kids. Um, and it's available on the bands with repeaters included. Repeaters, 2 meter, or sorry, 2 meter repeaters, I think it says here. 2 meter repeaters, and then 10 meters, 12, 15, 17, 20, 40, and 80. And so it gives a, a chance for the youngins to get on and get recognized on the air and get excited and maybe get their license one day. So that's coming up this weekend.
Oh, spark the interest. Yeah, that's always good. We need the younger generation to get in there and get things hopping again.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Deb, are you going to be sticking around or are you going to be taking off?
I think I'm gonna make this my only round. I'll be listening along, but I can't guarantee I'm gonna be here. I think I feel a headache coming on, so I'm just gonna chillax.
Okay, very good. Sounds good. But I do thank you for checking in with us here on the very first net of 20 or AREG net of 2024. And so it's always a pleasure, Debbie, having you aboard with us. Thanks again. And so we'll clear with Victor Alpha 3, Oscar Yankee Lima, and see who else is out there would like to check in with us here on the AREG net for the first net of 2024. This is VA3 CJZ looking for check ins. Okay, nothing heard. Let's see now. Well, let's go back to the contests, and we'll go through them all. And so, first one on my list here is the PODXS space 070 Club. It's a PSK 31 contest. If you are into that mode, that is for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, and 80. That's the PODXS 070 Club PSK Fest. Next one, we have the Marconi Club ARI Loano QSO Party, and that's for CW on 20, 40, and 80 meters. And then next we have a single sideband and CW net called the WW PMC Contest. 1200 Zulu January 6th to 1200 Zulu January 7th for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, 180, and 160.
Contact.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You missed a check-in from Vern, VE3 CRF.
Oh, I did too, and I didn't mark him down. I'm sorry. Vern, Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Romeo Foxtrot, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck and all on that. Thanks for the relay, Mac. Just out for a walk, as you would expect. Oh, yeah. Can't really tell. But it's not a bad evening. It's getting cool. I've just been listening on.
Did you get that, Chuck?
Well, I got most of that. Hello, Vern. I do hear you coming in and out, up and down, and all around. And so I do apologize for missing you that first time around there. And yes, I'm reading 1.9, plus 1.9 degrees, although it's going to get downright chilly this evening for sure. So, yes, I don't go out for walks in the evening unless it's warmer weather. But good for you. I know I do need the exercise. But so, did you have a good Christmas and New Year's there, Vern?
Yeah, we definitely did, Chuck. Had a nice time. The folks that were going to join us actually ended up being sick. So what we had to do was take their Christmas dinner to them. So we actually took Christmas dinners to 3 separate families.
Oh, aren't you folks so sweet? That's so nice of you. And yes, the Christmas time this year seemed to have a lot more people succumb to whatever viruses are going around there. So, yeah, this year's a little bit higher than normal.
Yeah, my wife has got something again now. It's just a cough and stuff right now, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around, so it's good to be cautious. I did hear the comment about Christmas and not feeling like Christmas. I'll tell you what, it was so foggy up here for 3 or 4 days in a row. It was crazy, like pea soup fog.
Yes, very foggy. You're absolutely right there, Vern. And it reminded me of British Columbia. I spent one winter there, and it was very mild, and it snowed, but you get more days with fog and rain than you do of snow. Or back then you did, anyways. Now it might be different, but it was very foggy here in Hamilton for sure. And I'm so glad that that drizzly rain that followed with that fog was not snow.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just a couple of degrees difference, right? It's much better than having to shovel it. I don't mind dealing with rain. Just in terms of fog, I was going to say the worst fog that I ever experienced was up in California on the coast there, not far from San Francisco, and we were driving to a place for a place to stay at night. It was so foggy that we would get to an intersection, and I had to get out of the car and get up close so I could read the name of the street.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty thick stuff, I'll tell you. I know, yeah, you got to be careful. I know I used to drive tractor trailer across Canada and the US there, and I've hit some pretty foggy patches where I've had to slow right down and just put the four ways on. But it's better to keep moving than to come to a complete stop in the fog, unless it's absolutely necessary. But yeah, it can be quite dangerous on the roads.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, Chuck, I won't hold you up. I would like to thank Mac for the relay. I do appreciate it. And I'll probably be one and done. I'm still about 10, 15 minutes away from the house, so I'll be listening along. But thanks for picking me up, and we will talk to you further down the log, Chuck. Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Romeo Fox.
Okay, Vern. Well, you sure settled into a nice strong signal there for the last few key ups. I had you at an S9. One time you were 10 over S9 there. So good job once you found the spot. And so thanks for checking in with us here on the first net of, or first AREG net of 2024. All the best to you and your family there, Vern. And next time I'm sick, I guess I'll call you for some chicken soup.
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll sure to tip you for the delivery. All right. So thanks again, Mac, for jumping in there while I jumped over Vern. I do apologize. I also want to recognize Victor Alpha 3, Fox Mike Bravo, Wayne in Mississauga, who checked in with us on YouTube, as well as some more here. We have Steve's friend, Mark. Steve is VE3NFG. And so, Mark, thanks for checking in with us on YouTube. Do appreciate you listening along. Can't wait for you to get your ticket and give us your call number one day. Okay, so with that, let's see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the first AREG net of 2024. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu.
VE3 LBI.
Okay, Larry, VE3 Lima Bravo India. Come on in, Larry.
Yep, Chuck, don't look at the clock there. It's not 9 o'clock.
You made me look, Larry.
You thought you were late for getting things started, eh?
I was like, doing a head scratch there going, Larry, what the heck? Well, I guess there was no Zoom or what have you.
Yeah, that was a live one, but wasn't interesting tonight, so I just decided to bail out.
Roger on the bailout. Well, as long as you don't have to bail out water, it's all good. Okay, Larry. Well, how was your Christmas and New Year's there? All good?
Well, we ended up with COVID pre, canceled Christmas Day for folks coming over. So New Year's resolutions, made a resolution I wasn't going to make any.
Yeah, I hear you. Sounds good to me. Well, that's terrible. Listen, speaking of not feeling well, how's Garnett doing?
I haven't talked to him today. I talked to him yesterday. He was feeling a lot better and sounded a lot better. So that was a good thing. So he figured Thursday or Friday he'd be home. Anyways, they're just trying to get his oxygen level back up to a proper level where he can actually take some oxygen home with him. He can't take home the amount that he's actually being administered at the hospital. It's too high of a dosage.
Oh, yeah. They don't want a walking time bomb, I guess. Well, I'm glad he's getting the care that he needs and he's feeling better, and that's the main thing. And I know Sammy, our Aussie friend, had to go in there, and then I heard him on the radio, so I imagine he got better, and I don't know. I thought he might have been leaving town or something soon. I'm not sure. Do you know?
No, unfortunately, I don't know too much about that at all. I really haven't been on the radio too much. Been busy doing other things, and just I don't know. Running around. We were out today. Had to take a quick run out to Costco, pick up something the wife ordered, and talk about a zoo. I am not kidding. Of course, Brenda went in and asked what was going on. It's like, is it always like this on a Wednesday? She goes, no, the kids are off of school, so everybody's in here, and the parking lot was absolutely jammed.
That's right. They got another 6 days off. I hear they go back on the 9th. And so long break. this time around. Yeah, yeah, that's just like any like Walmart will be like that too, and it's bad enough as it is now. If I can help it, Larry, I will rather shop next door at Metro than go into Walmart. There's just too many ignorant people, and I mean, even if I'm going in for a loaf of bread, Larry, I need to get a cart. Well, it helps me walk too. I have trouble walking, but it's mostly to keep people a bit at bay. You know what I mean?
Well, you want to talk about ignorant people? Go to Costco. I don't know. I think half of them are all American. I guess I shouldn't say that, should I? That's rude. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty bad there too.
Gosh, we haven't been there in so long. Um, yeah, been a while since we were there. Um, I wonder. Yeah, it'd be nice to go in and just check it out once there, since it's been so long. I wonder what's changed.
I wouldn't say too much has, Chuck. That's for sure. All I know is, like I said, we ended up with the dreaded disease there for a few days, and there was a 20-pound turkey sitting in the fridge that was already defrosted. So on Monday, 20 pounds of turkey got cooked up for the two of us.
Oh yeah, yeah. The wife got a deal on a fresh turkey, unfrozen, and so we had that. So it's just a small one though. But yeah, plenty of leftovers. All right, Larry, I got a question for you. Have you ever gone for a polar bear dip, or and would you want to? Not at this age, of course, but when you were younger.
Nope, fell in a creek once. It was cold.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, if anyone's ever fell through ice up to their ankles there in water, uh, it's a quick reminder. Yeah, I don't think my heart, even when I was a bit younger, I don't think my heart would have handled it. It's too much of a shock for me. Uh, Me and body temperatures there. It's yeah, no good.
Nope, I didn't fall up my ankles. I fell in, but it wasn't iced over, but it was cold. So yeah, it's. I don't think I'd be interested. Just doesn't, as they say, turn my crank. You go jump in some cold water. So I don't know. It's like I said, I've fallen in once or twice into a cold creek, late fall, just before winter. That's cold enough, especially when you get up and you're soaking wet and you're trying to dry yourself off, and it's cold outside. So
Yep, I hear you. Okay, Larry. Well, thank you for joining us on our first AREG net of 2024. And do you have anything else for us before I do another call out?
no, not really. Just like I said, joined in a little early tonight because the other one was not of interest. So I thought, well, I'll jump over here and listen to see what's going on. I'm sure there'll be more interesting things happening here than on that meeting.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, just to let you know, there on New Year's Day, I cracked 600 parks. So I got that award under my belt now, and we're going towards 700 now.
Yep, everybody's coming along. I didn't do too bad, so but it's good to see everybody. Actually, I got a list of people who went through the stats and looked at them, how people did this year. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but some people really came up. Talking about Canadians, nothing outside of Canada, but we took a list of did anything with a Victor Alpha and a Victor Echo, and put a list together, and then sorted it by the number of parks they actually are not activated but hunted this year. So, and then I was kind of curious about how it was working because Kevin and I was talking to VE3KKP, and what we determined was that if you work the park in 2022, it's part of that time frame. You can work the same park in 2023. It doesn't have to be a brand new park, and it becomes a new entity into that park or into that year. So if you look at your stats, which you can do on the POTA site,
it'll tell you how many actual parks you've worked in 2023 or 2022. If you do an overall look at it, it tells you all the parks that you've worked within that whole time frame.
Yeah, I was sort of checking that out there the other day. I think I overheard you guys uh, doing your comparisons there, and who is where and what, and did a quick look there. Interesting stuff. Yeah, very good then.
Yeah, they got some pretty good stats on there, that's for sure, you can pick up. And apparently there's some new stuff coming out this year, which hasn't been announced yet. I don't think it was supposed to come out January 1st, but partway through the year there'll be some new information, I guess. Some new things are coming up with for the POTA site. So, all right, Chuck, I'm going to pass it back over to you. You're getting close to the 9 o'clock there when you start some of your on this day and other things you talk about. So, all right, I'll back out of here and listen along. VE3LBI.
Okay, very good, Larry. Thanks again for joining us. And so we'll clear with VE3LBI. And I'd also like to acknowledge Tom, VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform, checking in with us tonight. The noise level must be bad at his place, as it at mine. And so he's unable to copy me tonight. And so he's checking in with us on YouTube. Once again, for those of you just tuning in, you can follow us along on YouTube. Just put my call sign in, VA3CJZ, and search for us live or under the title. Tonight, we're under AREG Week 1581. And so thank you for checking in, Tom. Much appreciated, sir. I hope your Christmas and New Year went well and not too many people sick in the family. That's, like I mentioned earlier, that seems to be going around during the holidays there. So hopefully everybody is recuperating from that. And so with that, let's see. We broke the 13 check-in mark. Let's see if we can get number 14. And so anyone else out there wishing to check in with us here on the AREG Amateur Radio Exchange Group, Simplex Net, please come now.
Alpha 3, Whiskey Papa Golf.
Okay, I heard Chris there. You almost cut off your first letters of your call, but I heard you. Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Papa Golf. Nice, strong, loud signal. Come on in, Chris.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Listening to the net this evening, I have replaced the repeater frequency with a simplex frequency. We know why. We're not going to get into details, but other than that, just back and forth doing some work in my apartment and back and forth to the computer. Got bitten by the FT8 bug over the holidays, so been playing around with that, getting some real interesting flags in my QRZ logs. So been doing that lately, and other than that, yeah, as I say, just been back and forth to my computer and the other side of my place working on stuff. And you caught me at the computer where you called for more check-in, so I thought I'd throw one in and say good evening to everybody.
Oh, very good then, Chris. Very good. And Happy New Year to you as well. And thank you for checking in to the first AREG net of 2024. And so you've got super loud audio. I don't know if you're close to the microphone or not, but it would probably be just fine if you backed away maybe a couple of inches. And so I don't know where you are, but I'm here by the Center Mall, and I'm wearing earbuds and they're rattling. So you're getting out really good there, Chris.
Okay, well, I'm doing 3.4 watts into the X30A, and I did back off the mic a little bit. I was talking at my UHF distance to the microphone because it's not too often I go on in Winnipeg, 2 meters was the main thing, but in Hamilton it seems to be UHF here, so I've gotten kind of used to holding it kind of close for UHF, but we backed off the mic a little bit here for 2 meters. How's this now?
Oh, that's awesome, Chris. So you're a winter pegger, are you?
Yes, original call sign is Victor Echo 4 Charlie Romeo Golf. I think I checked in there /3 a couple times at the beginning to this net.
Oh, very good. I know lots of people that live in Winnipeg and Brandon. I used to travel with Conklin shows back in the '80s, and a lot of the carnies make their home in Winnipeg. I actually spent a winter there, walking through snow that was up to my thighs. Yep, I remember.
Okay, now that's funny. I did a couple of years with Conklin at the X in Winnipeg. I don't know whether what do we call it here? What is that? The Canadian something exhibition. Is that the same thing that travels across Canada? In Winnipeg, it was called the Red River Exhibition. But it was all Conklin shows.
That's right. That's right. Conklin shows was the main fair, and of course they had independents that joined them with games, food concessions, and rides as well. But it was all under the banner of Conklin Shows. And then I think they were in financial trouble and ended up selling. And a company named North American Midway Entertainment picked them up and is now going under the banner NAME, NAME, which again stands for North American Midway Entertainment. And so they went all across Canada, except they did not cross the Rockies. And then they come back to Ontario and then back down south of the border into the U.S. for the winter months.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, when I was at Conklin, I did for a couple of years, I did the Gravitron. That was that spinning spaceship, and as it picked up speed, the G-forces would pull you upwards in that seat that slid up, but the ride operator rode in the middle of the thing, so...
Yes, I know it very well. And yeah, I brought my daughter in one for a ride when it was at Gage Park. I don't know who was running it, but nonetheless, we were quite dizzy when we left. Anyways, those were good times. The Red River X is always fun, and as is every big city out west there. So, anyways, Chris, thank you again for joining. And now I know something new about you, and hope you had a good Christmas and New Year's, my friend.
Christmas was non-existent due to the suffix of my call sign, as you can imagine, but New Year's was pretty good. Got that signaling thing on Boxing Day, so I spent some time on SSTV, but I can't seem to quite get my picture straight. So I took a break from that for a bit, tried out the FTA, and as I said, I got into the FTA bug a bit now, but gonna have to get back to that SSTV, but that pretty much covers December 26th up until New Year's.
Okay, very good then. Well, good luck with that. I have not yet been bitten by the FT8 bug. I'm strictly single sideband for now. But I do plan on checking out CW this year at some point there, looking into that, see if I can muster up the patience to maybe not master it, but be proficient. So anyways, thanks again, Chris. And so we'll break with you and see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the very first AREG net of 2024. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. All right, nothing heard. Well, it is currently 8:59 p.m. and now it's 1.8 degrees Celsius. I hope I'm reading that right because the 6 o'clock news says it was 0, but they usually get their temperature from the airport. So there you go. And so with that, I think we're going to start with the on this day in history, which a lot of people seem to enjoy. But first, I've got a little bit of news about New Year's Eve riots in the Netherlands. Police in the Netherlands arrested more than 200 people on New Year's Eve during riots across the country. During the riots in several cities in the Netherlands, police were attacked with fireworks and stones. Dozens of law enforcement officers were injured. Police in Rotterdam said that more than 100 cars and other vehicles were set on fire, while in Amsterdam, Hague, and other cities, riot police were needed to disperse violent crowds. My wife is Dutch, so this is of interest. SWAT teams were also used across the country to assist fire brigades under attack from fireworks as they tried to extinguish numerous fires. In the city of Haarlem, a 19-year-old man died of injuries sustained during a fireworks incident shortly before midnight on Sunday. And so terrorists attacks in Europe on Christmas Day. We have European Union Home Affairs Commissioner stating that there's a significant risk of terrorist attacks in European countries. That's unfortunate. But yeah, that's I just thought I'd point that out about the Netherlands. Hopefully all your relatives are okay and they stayed indoors.
Recheck the E3LBI.
Yes, V3LBI, go ahead.
One thing I should have mentioned, sorry, Chuck, for butting in. Anybody that hasn't heard, and I'm sure anybody that has been an activator or a hunter, we lost a Sonic Key come up I guess, I think it was around the 31st of December. Fellow's name was Jerry, call sign Alpha Delta Zero Bravo Charlie. And anybody that knew him, he was, I'm from Missouri, and one of the things he'd always say at the end would be God bless. Anyways, I thought I'd put that out there because there's quite a few people that are probably activators and hunters who have heard him, but he was quite an avid hunter. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw that out there, Chuck. Thanks for letting me do it.
All right. Thank you for that announcement there, Larry. Much appreciated. And of course, silent keys are in our thoughts and prayers. And does anyone else have any announcements while we're at it? That's something that's coming up that they'd like to mention to anyone and everyone. Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So let's carry on with on this day. And today we're at on this day 149. That's the amount of weeks I've been doing this. And so we'll start with famous birthdays on January 3rd. And we go all the way back to the year 1624. William Tucker, the first known African-American child born in America, born in Jamestown, Virginia. So that's a neat fact. Next, we've got J.R.R. Tolkien, born on this day in 1892. Of course, he's a British author responsible for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. And he was born in South Africa. He passed away in 1973. So he was 81 years old. All right, so let's jump up to the year 1905, January 3rd. Anna May Wong was born. She's a Chinese-American actress, the first Asian-American movie star. She was in the movie Shanghai Express and a couple of others. She's also the first Asian-American on U.S. currency. She's on the American Women Series Quarter. So that's their silver quarters. Didn't know that. In 2022. So if you have any coins from the States, you might see her on the coin. She was born in Los Angeles, California, back in 1905 and passed away in 1961. Next, we've got the year 1911, January 3rd. John Sturges was born. He's an American film director. He directed the movie The Magnificent Seven. Born in Oak Park, Illinois. Died in 1992. And born on this day in 1926, we have George Martin. He's a British record producer for the Beatles and Jeff Beck and America and the Goon Squad, which I've never heard of. And of course, he was born in London, England. He passed away in 2016. George Martin.
Comment?
Comment. Please come back with your call sign.
Yeah, VA3.
VE3QEE.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think the Goon Squad might have been a British comedy troupe featuring Spike Milligan, Peter Sellers, probably early 60s.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah, that's not a very well-known name, but I do appreciate the update. And I think I heard VE3QEE. Marty, was that you? Come on in.
Yeah, it was. How copy? How's the signal?
Oh my goodness, Marty, you're coming in at about 20 over down here by the Center Mall.
Okay, that's great to know. I've got a R7, Cushcraft R7 in the attic here in Ancaster. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I do have a generous meter on this Yaesu 857, but nonetheless, great job there, Marty. And I've got a pretty wide open space here. Once the antenna is above the roof, it's no interference in my area. And so thanks for joining us there, Marty.
I tore myself away from the television, so I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. I've been meaning to do this over and over and over again, and just, slipped my mind. But managed it tonight. Over.
All right, Chuck, let's get back to this day. They can key up when you're done.
Now, George, just stand by, please. We have a check-in, and so we're going to take the check-in. And so, Marty, well, you picked a great night to do this. It's the first net for the AREG for the year 2024. So thank you for joining us, Marty. Much appreciated, sir.
Okay, my pleasure. And I'm not hearing everybody, I guess because it's Simplex, but I hear your signal 5.9.
Absolutely there, Marty. And we do stream the net on YouTube. If you ever want to play it back or listen along, you just go to YouTube and put in my call, VA3CJZ, and you can look for us tonight under the live button, or our title is AREG Week 1581. That's 1,581 weeks that AREG has been on the air. Ask Google to see how many years 1,581 weeks is.
Roger. Well, I'll look it up and see what I can find there, Chuck. I'll be on the side. 73 for now. VE3QEE clear.
All right. Very good then, Marty. Do appreciate the check-in. You are in the log. Is there anyone else out there that would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. Please come now. Okay, Marty was check-in number 15. And so with no further check-ins, let's go back to famous birthdays on this day. And so we finished with George Martin from the producer of the Beatles. Next, let's go to the spaghetti westerns. You all remember The Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood westerns. Well, in 1929, on January 3rd, today, Sergio Leone was born. He's an Italian director who invented spaghetti westerns, which means basically they were filmed in Italy with some Italian actors. Some of them were even dubbed. Anyways, there's the Man with No Name trilogy. And Sergio Leone was born in Rome, Kingdom of Italy. He died in 1989. Next, we've got Dabney Coleman, born on this day in 1932. He's an American Emmy Award-winning character actor. He was on Mary Hartman, 9 to 5, the movie 9 to 5. You remember that one? And a bunch of other movies. He was born in Austin, Texas, and he is 91 years old. Next, we've got Bobby Hull, born on this day in 1939. Bobby Hull is a Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame left wing, Stanley Cup winner in 1961 with the Chicago Blackhawks. 3 times Art Ross Trophy, 2 times Hart Memorial with the Winnipeg Jets, born in Point Anne, Ontario. Bobby Hull is a Canadian. He passed away in 2023, sadly. Then we go to 1945. Today, in January 3rd, in 1945, Stephen Stills was born. He's an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist with Buffalo Springfield, and then with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Born in Dallas, Texas. Next, we've got John Paul Jones. His real name is John Baldwin, but his stage name is John Paul Jones, and he's 77 years old today. Born in 1946. He's an English rock bassist and songwriter for Led Zeppelin. Born in London. Let's go back to sports. Rick McLeish was born on this day in 1950. He's a Canadian ice hockey center, Stanley Cup winner 2 times, All-Star, born in Lindsay, Ontario, and he passed away in 2016. Next, we've got Jim Ross, born today in 1952. He's an American pro wrestling announcer with WWE, born in Fort Bragg, California. He's 71 years old. Next, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is 67 years old today, born in 1956. We all know who Mel Gibson is. He was born in Peekskill, New York. And next we've got Michael Schumacher, turning 54 today. Born in 1969, he is a German auto racer, world F1 champion several times, born in Germany. Eli Manning is 42 years old, born in 1981, American NFL quarterback. 2 Super Bowls, Pro Bowls, born in New Orleans, Louisiana. And next, we've got everyone's favorite climate change person, Greta Thunberg. She turns 20 years old today. She is, of course, a multi-millionaire Swedish climate change activist, born in Stockholm, Sweden. Her parents are also very well off. And that ends famous birthdays on this day. Do we have any comments or questions or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3 CJZ.
VA3 SLJ.
Okay, I copy Vanya in the Mobile. Victor Alpha 3, X-Ray Lima Juliet. Come on in, Vanya.
Hello, everybody on the net. Hopefully you guys are having a good time because a lot of people have here. I did interesting things that you have up on this date. Like, it's very interesting, actually. And as usual, I'm on my way to work, so I my interface. And in a little while, I'm going to be driving like this. So I just feel a small antenna, so I don't know how good or how bad I'm coming I don't have a views other people views.
All right, Vanya. Well, you are very choppy. The signal is going up and down quite a bit, but I heard most of what you said there, and I do thank you for checking in on the first AREG net of 2024. Hopefully, the holidays were okay for you and your family, and no big illnesses to speak of, I hope.
Tomorrow, but I don't think they're gonna diagnose anything. But they happen to him over the holidays. But we will see. Hopefully, it's gonna be okay. If not, we're gonna have to figure out something next. Start planning. I I'm gonna go back to listening, Chuck, and I'm gonna guys give you 7-3, and hopefully we're gonna be talking again sometime next Wednesday. How's it?
Okay, Vanya. Well, again, thanks for checking in, sir. I do appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon, and maybe even give you a check in for a POTA park. All right, so we'll clear with Victor Alpha 3, X-Ray Lima Juliet, and see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ. Please come now. All right, so I guess we'll go back to on this day in history, and we just finished the birthdays. Let's see who passed away. Famous deaths on January 3rd. And so we'll go all the way back to the year 1543, and we have Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo. He's a Portuguese Spanish conquistador who conquered Central America and later discovered California. He dies of gangrene around the age of 43. Next, we've got Henry Darcy passing away in 1858. He's a French hydraulic engineer. This is for you, Mac. I'm not sure if you're aware of Darcy's Law. Being in the automotive industry, I'm not sure. But anyways, Henry Darcy is a French hydraulic engineer, and he passed away at the age of 54. So let's send it over to Mac.
What did I miss? Am I supposed to comment about somebody in the automotive industry?
Well, I have a person here by the name of Henry Darcy who passed away in 1858. And he's got a law named after him because he's a French hydraulic engineer. And I was wondering if you knew what Darcy's Law is.
You know, that does strike a chord. Oh my goodness. Doesn't really come to mind right off the bat. But yeah, there was so many advances in physics that were made as they experimented with different modes of power. Let me look it up, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, I've got a very limited understanding. I do know it's the flow of water through various other, like sand or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, come on back to us with that. I already forgot what it is. Okay, so let's move on and go to the year 1898 on January 3rd. James Wimshurst. He's a British designer and inventor of the electrostatic generator. Very important. He dies at the age of 70. Electrostatic generator is kind of like the Tesla's coil. Similar. You'll see those balls that give off electricity. Yeah. And so let's go to 1903 now, very interesting name here. In 1903, Alois, A-L, so A. Lois Hitler passed away, and he's a father of Adolf Hitler. See, I can't even say his name right. And he dies at the age of 65. All right, it's getting better. Let's go to 1945. On this day, Edgar Cayce passed away. Edward Cayce is a very famous American psychic. People used to come to him and ask him questions about the future, of course, among other things. And he would go into a trance, and he was actually right more often than he was wrong. He was born in 1877, passed away in 1945. Somebody to look up, a very interesting fellow. Edgar Cayce, Cayce. Next, passing away on this day, Jack Ruby. He passed away in 1967. Now, Jack Ruby is the guy who shot Lee Harvey Oswald. And he's also an American nightclub owner and sort of had loose ties with the mob, I guess. And he dies of a pulmonary embolism at 55. I'm pretty sure he was in prison. All right. Anybody ever go to a Hilton hotel? Conrad Hilton passed away in 1979. He's the American hotel mogul for Hilton Hotels, the world's first international hotel chain. Dies at the age of 91. Then, in 2002, Freddie Heineken passed away. Now, Heineken, of course, is from the beer, and so he was a Dutch beer brewer for Heineken. Dies at the age of 78. Freddie Heineken. Yeah, that was back in 2002, so there you go. By the way, I looked it up, and Heineken was introduced in the year 1873. That is exactly 150 years ago. Next, we go to the year 2012, and Bob Weston passed away. He was a British guitarist and songwriter for Fleetwood Mac. He dies from gastrointestinal hemorrhage at the age of 64. Ouch. Wouldn't want to pass away from that. Okay. Next, we've got Phil Everly from the Everly Brothers. Passed away in 2014 on this day. Of course, he's an American rock and roll singer, guitarist with the Everly Brothers. You might remember the song Bye Bye Love or Wake Up Little Susie, among others. Dies of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, at the age of 74. And so that wraps up famous people passing away on this day in history. Do I have any questions or comments or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Darcy's Law plays into all kinds of other physics that applies to fluid dynamics. Part and parcel, the flow of liquids in a vacuum, where gravity is a constant, and if it's flowing through something porous, it takes into consideration the pores that this fluid is flowing through and how that becomes a resistance. They actually they say that Darcy's Law is very similar if you compare fluid dynamics as it applies to Darcy's Law to Ohm's Law as it applies to electricity. So it is the flow of liquids through a medium which has a restriction in it, as compared to Ohm's Law, which is the flow of electrons through resistors. So very interesting. And obviously the early development of automotive technology also included using hydraulics and liquids for a drive medium rather than change gears and propeller shafts. So this is where the hydrostatic drive is now developed from these days. It's still used in a lot of farm equipment and heavy industry equipment. So that's where Mr. Darcy comes to play.
Ah, very good, very good. Well, back then, like you were saying, they were making such advancements during the or after the what do they call that? The industrial age there. Yeah. So very good. Well, thank you for that explanation there, Mac. Do appreciate it. Darcy's Law, folks.
And I did hear Marty come in with a comment. Don't know that you heard him.
Actually, no, I didn't. Marty, you got a comment there? Go ahead.
Oh, I just looked up Darcy's Law and was going to say what it was, but I don't know what.
All right there, Marty. It looks like Mac beat you to the punch there.
Yeah, he's usually first on the bunny there. Hi, Mac.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but yeah, fluid dynamics. Yeah, that's cool. Darcy's law to fluid dynamics as Ohm's law is to electrons. Pretty cool stuff.
All right, very good then. Do we have any other comments or questions or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3 CJZ. Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. Well, we went through birthdays, deaths. Let's go to historical events on January the 3rd in history. Let's go to the year 1431, the trials of Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was handed over to Bishop Pierre Cauchon, a French military leader under Charles VII during the Hundredth Year War. They kind of made her, they would forgive her if she would stop fighting, I guess, that she would not put on her military uniform, but she did. And on May 30th in 1431, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake. All right, well, let's go to Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine. In 1496, on this day, Leonardo da Vinci unsuccessfully tests a flying machine. Although he did have the right idea through a lot of the sketches that he had, he was on the right track. But on that day, he was unsuccessful. That was in 1496. So let's jump to 1777 now. On this day, January 3rd, General George Washington's Revolutionary Army defeats the British forces at Battle of Princeton, New Jersey. Who's ever been to Austin, Texas? Well, in 1823 on this day, Stephen F. Austin, I mentioned him last week as well. He receives a grant of land in Texas from the government of Mexico. For those of you who don't know, Texas used to be part of Mexico. So did California. Anyways, Stephen F. Austin is known as the father of Texas. All right. In 1840, was the first deep sea sounding by James Clark Ross in the South Atlantic at 2,425 fathoms. That equals 14,450 feet. So the very first deep sea sounding. (1852) on January 3rd, the first Chinese arrived in Hawaii. That's all I have. And then the Brooklyn Bridge opens on this day in 1870. Construction begins in 1870 on this day on New York's Brooklyn Bridge, and it was completed by May 24, 1883, 13 years later. Remember getting candy inside wax as a kid, those liquids? Well, in 1888 on this day was the first wax drinking straw was patented by Marvin C. Stone in Washington, D.C. 1899, the first known use of the word automobile appears in an editorial in the New York Times. That's January 3rd, 1899. All right, here's an interesting one. The Curse of the Bambino. Now, the Bambino is Babe Ruth. And so on this day in 1920, the Boston Red Sox baseball club owner, Harry Frazee, announces agreement to sell slugger Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for $125,000 in cash and a $350,000 loan. I don't know what that is. That starts the 84 year of the Curse of the Bambino, because it is a superstition that when Babe Ruth was sold to the Yankees, that he cursed the Red Sox to not win another World Series, and they didn't for another 84 years. Poor Red Sox. And then in 1922 on this day is the first living person identified on a U.S. coin, and that is Thomas E. Kirby on the Alabama Centennial half dollar. Next, we go to 1925 for Il Duce. January 3rd, 1925, Benito Mussolini dissolves the Italian parliament and proclaims himself dictator of Italy, taking the title Il Duce, which means the leader. Here's an NHL team I haven't heard of. It's the Montreal Maroons. On this day in 1931, the Maroons center Nels Stewart scores the fastest 2 goals in NHL history with a pair in 4 seconds apart in a 5-3 win over Boston Bruins at the Montreal Arena. Wow. All right, the March of Dimes established to fight polio on this day in 1938. And here's some interesting stuff here. In 1941, Canada and the U.S. acquire air bases in Newfoundland with a 99-year lease. This is during World War II, of course. And then I forget the last year that an American base was on Newfoundland, but they were there for quite some time. And then let's go to 1943 on this day. Canadian Army troops arrive in North Africa. A lot of you think that Canadians only went to Europe. They also fought in North Africa. Next, we've got Lucky Luciano's sentence commuted in 1946 on this day. As a reward for his wartime cooperation, Governor Thomas Dewey commutes Charles Lucky Luciano's pandering sentence on condition that he does not resist deportation to Italy. Better than jail. And then we go 1 year later to 1947 on this day, the first opening session of Congress to be televised. It did not happen again until 1977, 30 years later. Next, let's go to 1952, and we have Dragnet, with starring Jack Webb, premiering on NBC TV. Sorry, ma'am, just the facts. That was on this day, 1952. All right, in 1956, on this day, a fire damages the top part of the Eiffel Tower. And in 1959, Alaska is admitted as the 49th U.S. state. 1959. All right. Bet you guys didn't know this. In 1961, an explosion at the nuclear reactor testing station in Idaho Falls, Idaho, I'm guessing, kills 3 operators. 1961. Then, a year later, in 1962, January 3rd, on this day, ground is broken for the Houston Astrodome, a multi-purpose domed stadium in Houston, Texas. And then in 1967, The Tonight Show is shortened from 105 minutes to 90 minutes. Anybody ever notice? 1967, I was pretty young. All right. And then, still in 1967, we have Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. He gets indicted for draft evasion. A lot of that going on back then. A lot of them came to Canada, too, to avoid the draft. All right, let's go to 1977 now, when Apple is incorporated. Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs incorporate Apple Computer Inc. January 3rd, 1977. (1987) on this day, Aretha Franklin is the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 1987. And then January 3rd, 1988, Margaret Thatcher becomes the longest serving British PM of this century. Of course, that's the 20th century. We are now in the 21st century. So Margaret Thatcher, what did they call her? The Iron Lady, or anybody know what her nickname was?
Iron Lady.
Yeah, because she ruled with an iron fist. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Please come now. All right. Well, here's an interesting character. In 1990, we got Panama's leader, General Manuel Noriega, surrenders to U.S. authorities. Now, a lot of you don't know this, but Manuel Noriega was a paid CIA collaborator since the early 70s. Noriega worked with Washington, allowing U.S. forces to set up listening posts in Panama and use the country to funnel aid to pro-American forces in El Salvador and Nicaragua. And in exchange, they would let Noriega do whatever he wanted. That included bringing drugs into the U.S. A lot of you don't know this, but Bill Clinton is alleged to be involved with the importation of cocaine with the CIA back during when he was the governor of Arkansas. Oh, yeah. Lots of conspiracy theories about that. All right, so moving on, let's go to 1991. Wayne Gretzky becomes fastest and youngest player in NHL history to score 700 goals in 886 games at the age of 29 years, 342 days. In the Los Angeles Kings 6-3 win over the New York Islanders at the Nassau Veteran Coliseum back in 1991. And then next year in 1992, on January 3rd, 32 Cubans defect to the U.S. via helicopter. Now, Cuba is only 90 miles from the tip of Florida. So it's possible it would be a one-way trip only with a helicopter, 90 miles. It's doable, but tricky. 1992. And by the way, 32 people on a helicopter? I don't know how that was done. Got to be a big chopper. All right. Next, we've got 1994 on this day. Steve Young of the San Francisco 49ers becomes the first quarterback to win 3 straight NFL passing titles despite a 37-34 OT overtime loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. He's the first to lodge 3 consecutive passer ratings of 100 plus. Oh. All right, we're almost at the end here. Next, we've got Casey Kasem handing over the show to Ryan Seacrest in 2004. On this day, January 3rd, after hosting the show for over 30 years, Casey Kasem gives up the hosting duties of American Top 40 to Ryan Seacrest. You'll remember every Saturday morning, you would hear the American Top 40. And then we go to 2015 on this day. 18 people are killed after the Norwegian cargo ship MS Bulk Jupiter sinks off the coast of Vietnam. Huh. And then in 2018, we got the first bionic hand with a sense of touch for use outside of a lab, unveiled in Rome. That was back in 2018. Okay. And then also in 2018, we have a previously unknown ancient Beringians group of people unearthed in Alaska, the earliest known Native Americans at 11,500 years old. Much older than what archaeologists originally thought. For all you computer geeks out there, in 2018, also, this is the third story of 2018. On this day, security experts revealed 2 security flaws called Meltdown and Spectre, which affect most microprocessors. So those of you into computers would know what the Meltdown and Spectre would be. Larry, are you there? VE3LBI?
Yep, I'm just listening along. Yes, I know both of them for the processors. Yeah, it was interesting. Was the virus they put out?
Okay, interesting. I'd never heard of those 2, but I know there's been others as well. All right, very good. Well, glad you know about it there, Larry. Sticking with computers, let's jump to 2022. Apple becomes the first United States company to be worth $3 trillion in value after tripling its price in under 4 years. Wow. And finally, my last story is about Cristiano Ronaldo and his record salary. In 2023, Cristiano Ronaldo joined Saudi Arabian club Al Nasser for the biggest salary ever in football, leaving Manchester United after criticizing it publicly. How much does a Cristiano Ronaldo make a year, you ask? Ronaldo's annual salary shot up to $75 million, whereas his contract has been estimated to be worth more than $220 million, according to the world's 10 highest paid athletes in 2023, listed by Forbes. And so that concludes On This Day in History. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did researching it and repeating it back to you folks. Do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ.
VA3WPG.
Yes, sir. Chris, go ahead.
Yes, regarding Apple, I just want to say that I can proudly say that I have never owned an Apple product and am a non-contributor to that company's value.
Well, that makes two of us, Chris. I have never owned an Apple product, uh, no Apple product whatsoever.
All right, that's it. I'll catch you on the next call for me.
All right, very good. So we're going to do a 7-3 round now. And before we do, let's do one more call out. Any last minute check ins for the first amateur radio exchange with net of 2024? This is VA3, CJ's at anyone, anywhere. All right, well, let's go back up to the top of the list here and see if Rick is still with us. I know he said he might not be there, but let's give it a go. VA3 AXJ.
Yeah, very interesting night there. I enjoyed it. Yeah, because I missed the last two, I think it was. Anyhow, yeah, thanks for doing it there, Chuck. It was good net. I'm going to hang in for another 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to shut my eyes because the last 3 weeks haven't had much sleep. With moaning and groaning and ouch and pain, you know what I mean. Anyhow, thanks for doing it, Chuck. VA3, AXJ, we're clear the frequency.
Okay, Rick. Well, thanks for sticking around with us, Rick. I do appreciate it. I do hope you get some good rest, and once you get your needles in there tomorrow, you're gonna sleep like a champ for sure. All right, Rick. So we'll clear with VA3 AXJ, and next on the list is where are we? Oh, George, VE3 GBD. George, last call.
Not much to report there, Chuck. Just listening to your this day and the birthdays and shit. Yeah, that was all good. Not much to report, but
All right. Well, did you enjoy it?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I'm still here.
All right. Very good, George. Well, also thank you for joining us here on our very first AREG Net of 2024, and look forward to chatting with you again soon. So we'll clear with VE3 GBD and see if Art is still with us. VE3 Kilo Charlie India. Last round, Art.
Yeah, I'm still here. I didn't know you were a Connie. I didn't know you worked for Simplex. I work for the fire company. I work for D.A. Campbell.
Okay, I didn't quite catch all of that. Mac, are you still with us?
Yep, roger that. Apparently Art didn't realize you were a carny. He says he worked for a better company, D.A. Campbell. Back to you, Chuck.
Campbell Amusements out of Brantford, I think. There's like 2 or 3 carnival companies out in Brantford. Yeah, I was working out of both the Brantford and West Palm Beach, Florida shops there during the winter. And yeah, that's me, an old carny at heart. The open road, on the road again. Okay, Art. Well, thanks for sticking around, my friend. I do appreciate your check in, and hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time. Worked for D.A. Campbell, and then he had that big accident in his warehouse, and he got hurt really badly. Yeah, so I worked for the old man for a while. I'm telling you, he was one heck of a guy to work for. And yeah, I enjoyed the time we were there, and I worked my way outside. And where we could, was out there for about 3 or 4 years. Still miss being outside, and still wish I was there. But anyway, it's either here or there. And I'm surprised that we haven't heard our 40th tonight. B3 weekday. Bye for now. VE3 CCA. Check it out. Bye for now.
So Art did some time with the Brantford area, then worked his way out west. Apparently, he wishes he was still out in the western provinces.
Yeah.
But burr. He's quite surprised that Mr. BK didn't show his face, or at least his call sign tonight. So if anybody hears him in the fringes, pass on Art's best wishes. That's all from Art tonight, and I'll throw it back to you, Chuck.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you for that relay, Mac. I did catch some of that. But yeah, Art, some weeks we get people who check in while others don't. And then, back and forth we go. But we always like to try and keep it interesting. And nonetheless, I do appreciate everyone checking in with us here and on the YouTube stream as well. So I wish you all the best in 2024, Art. And I'll say 7-3 for now. Anything else?
No, everything back to you. That's doing a good job as usual, and good to hear everybody else in there. And also want to wish Deb a happy New Year.
All right. So long for now, Art. So let's pass the mic back over to Mac, VA3 IMW, 7-3 round, Mac.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is where we all get comfy and cozy and go to night, and look forward to next Wednesday. Great job as usual, and I have to say that I've been an avid Apple supporter for probably as long as I can remember. One of my favorites is apple pie, apple butter, apples themselves, applesauce. I'm big on that, and apple Betty and apple crumble. Oh, that's always good. And of course, to finish it all off, you need some apple cider, and not the kind of stuff that you would serve your children. The really good stuff. 7-3 to 1 and all. Oh, by the way, Rick, don't forget to do your stretching exercises, because if you've got a reprieve from the pain, stay on top of it, because bad things can happen. So stay up with your back exercises, and hopefully that sciatica, you'll be able to keep it under control. 7-3s to you. All best wishes for your treatment, and Chuck, thanks again. Wonderful job. The VA3 IMW.
All right, Mac. Very good advice there for sure for people with back issues. And again, I do thank you for helping us out tonight. As always, whenever you can, you're always there, like a dirty shirt. No. Anyway, excuse me. See, it's making me choke on my words after that. Thanks again, Mac, VA3 IMW. And so I'd like to say thanks to VA3 FMB checking in with us on YouTube, as well as everyone else. Mark, Steve's friend, VA3NFG. And next up is Wade, Victor Alpha 3, November Charlie Alpha. Are you by the radio?
VA3 CJZ, VA3 MCA. Yeah, still here by the radio, Chuck. Listening simulcast on YouTube and the radio to pick up stations near and far. Good job on the inaugural 2024 AREG. Another good start to the year. And you had asked a question earlier about polar bear dips, and I did mention on YouTube. Never done an actual polar bear dip, but the next closest thing was floating around in Lake Ontario in March, early March, as in my younger years as an instructor for a scuba dive course. We ran through the winter indoors at an indoor pool, and then in the spring, very early spring, we would take the students into Lake Ontario early March, and some days, some weekends, there was still a little bit of ice around the edges of the lake, and the lake was pretty frigid. The only saving grace was that the instructors with our rating, we got to use dry suits, whereas all the other students had to go in wetsuits. But the other trade-off was the instructors had to float around waiting for us to cycle through all the students. So we spent a few hours floating around on the top and the bottom of Lake Ontario in early March, which is the next closest thing, I think, to a polar bear dip. But it was good memories, but I'm not sure I'd be up to it today. Anyways, good job on the first net of the year, and thanks so much for doing it, and I will send it back to you. 7-3 to everybody, and good night. VA3 NCA, back to net control.
Okay, very good standby there, Steve. I got you. Very good, Wade. And let me tell you, the only way you'd get me to scuba dive would be south of the border in warmer waters. I do not like the cold, period. Especially in my older years now. Give me warmth. And so with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us, Wade, both on YouTube and on the air. Always a pleasure, sir. Thanks again. And so I heard Victor Alpha 3, November Foxtrot Golf. Steve, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck. I just got in the door about 20 minutes ago. I missed the whole net, but I'm sure it was a good one. I just had to get a check-in in there on the first AREG of the year of 2024. That's all I got right now. That was with a bowl of cereal, and I'm going to bed. I'm back up at 5:30 in the morning, so I won't be sticking around too much longer. But thanks for doing the net, Chuck, and all the nets you've been doing ever since there. John gave it up. Glad we got someone to continue it on and keep things rolling.
Okay, Steve, kind of lost you there at the end. You're coming in with an S5 and a bunch of noise, but I was able to copy 90% of what you said. And I do appreciate you checking in, my friend. So have that bowl of cereal there and get some rest. We'll talk to you again on the air soon, I'm sure. Thanks for being part of the first AREG net of 2024. Do appreciate it there, Steve.
Oh, not a problem, buddy. Try not to miss your next there, but sometimes I miss the odd one. But awesome. Okay, back to net control there, Chuck. Have a good night, and good night, everybody who's listening. VA3 NFG.
All right, Steve, your check-in number 17 tonight, not too shabby. And so we'll clear with Victor Alpha 3, November Foxtrot Golf, and go to Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Chris, are you still there?
Yeah, sure am, Chuck. I think that Max forgot one. Apple crisp. Apple crisp with the roast nice and crunchy on top there. Anyhow, 73 to you and to everyone else on the net. All the best wishes for a safe and a healthy 2024. Thanks to you, Chuck, for doing all the hard work, your research, all the things you bring to us every week to educate us and give us a laugh. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And so I'll say 73 for now, and look forward to probably dropping in next week. VA3 CJZ, VA3 CJW.
Yeah, just a few letters off from CJZ. Very good there, Chris. Thanks for sticking around with us and for checking in on our first AREG of 2024. And yes, emphasis on health and then happiness to go would be great. All right, my friend, take care. Thanks again. Hope to hear you next week. And so we'll clear with VA3 CJW and see if Brian is available. Victor Alpha 3, Bravo Kilo Mike. Okay, and I know Debbie said she was one and done, feeling a headache coming on. I hope you feel better, Debbie. Happy New Year. And so VA3OYL will skip. And next would be Vern. Vern was out walking earlier, but let's give him a shout. VA3 Charlie Romeo Foxtrot. Okay, nothing heard. Let's go to Larry, VE3 LBI.
Yep, we're still here, Chuck. Listen along. Thanks for doing it. It was quite interesting, some of the stuff you put out. And yes, those two viruses they put out many years ago, but they still exist today, believe it or not. So, all right, thanks again. All the best. VE3LBI.
Yeah, and with AI now and all that advancements that we're having in with that, it's going to be interesting for sure to see what else happens. Thanks, Larry. As always, do appreciate it. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you again soon. Clearing with VE3LBI, and I'd like to acknowledge Thomas. VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform, who checked in with us on YouTube. Thank you, Tom. Maybe next week we'll be able to hear you, but thank you for checking in regardless. Let's go to Chris now. VA3 WPG 7-3 round. Chris?
All right, VA3 WPG. Just to pick up on last time, but to change the mode from FT8 to CW. You mentioned getting into CW this year. That's actually another goal of mine. I got my CW license back in 2000, and shortly after that, I was stuck with HTX 202. And about 2010, those ended up in a box, and I just got my radios out again during COVID. And I got all these nice HF rigs now. So during the 12 Days of Christmas contest there, I actually picked up W1AW and was doing some copying there. So I still got a little bit of it in me there. So I've been going to be working on receiving my code. And hopefully this year at some point I'll be making my first CW contact as well. Because, hey, I didn't buy this nice Benchner paddles for nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wish you luck there, Chris. I know I'm going to need it. But it's all about being able to focus and retain, what we have to. So, again, good luck with that. And thanks for checking in with us here on the very first AREG Net of 2024. It's a pleasure, sir. And so anything else before I continue on down the list here?
No, other than me, I think I just got to work on more on learning the things by sound and not counting, but I know we all do that at the start. But as I say, things have been packed up and I'm just getting back into it. But other than that, nothing else to say. So hopefully we both get our first CW contacts this year. And with that, I'll say 73 to everybody. And since I've replaced the repeater frequencies with Simplex, I will probably see you here next week. Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Papa Golf, back to the net. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, Chris. Well, just so you know, I do monitor this frequency throughout the day while I'm here at the desk. I mean, I'm not here 24/7, but while I'm here, I do monitor this frequency. So you're welcome to stop in and say hi anytime. And so we'll clear with VA3 WPG. And let's see if Marty is still with us or if he took off. Victor Echo 3, Quebec Echo 7-3 round, Marty.
VA3 CJZ, VE3 QEE, still here. Very interesting net. Thanks a lot for everything you do there, Chuck. That was quite interesting. And unlike a lot of the guys who checked in earlier, I started with Apple back in 1988 and have been an Apple person ever since. I have a PC, like a PC clone also for radio work, but I'm looking at an Apple right now and seeing your station on there. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very good, very good. Well, I don't have anything against Apple. I just have not had the the inclination to go that way. And so maybe one day, I'm not giving up. But I do appreciate you sticking around, Marty. Hope you enjoyed the net. And it's a pleasure having you aboard, sir. for our first AREG net of 2024. Take care, Marty, until we talk to you next time on your net there, and have a great rest of the evening.
Thanks, Chuck. 73, and wish the best in the new year for everyone listening along. 73 for now. VE3 QEE clear.
VE3 WKG.
Okay, I hear VE3 WKG. Thanks again, Marty. We'll talk to you again soon. VE3 WKG. Oh, Kevin, my neighbor. Come on in, Kevin.
Yeah, good evening, Chuck. Yeah, I thought I'd use my original call there that most people know me by, and it rhymes with the other fella that was just talking a couple of minutes ago. WPG, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been listening along most of the net, just being a late check-in here, and give you another bean for the pod there. Yeah, I haven't been feeling good either. Headache the last few days. Everyone here too. Brooke's not feeling good. A lot of people I hear not feeling good. The headache and feels like you got chest cold and the cough. And oh yeah, I was just bragging the other day how I wasn't sick. Now I got it.
Yeah, isn't that always the way, eh? Yeah, don't jinx yourself. Well, I hope you shake it off soon. I have heard some guys saying 2-3 days and they feel better. So hopefully that's the case with this bug that's going around. Thankfully, we got sick only once a couple of months ago. And so hopefully that's it for us over here. So thanks for checking in, Kevin. You're number 18 tonight. I do appreciate you coming in and being here on our first AREG of 2024. Good luck to you in the new year, Kevin. All the best.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you and Renata and the family there, and anybody else on Frequency Listen. Happy New Year. All the best to everyone. VA3 Eddie.
Okay, very good then. So we'll clear with VE3 WKG. And let's see who else is out there would like to check in with us here on the first AREG net of 2024. This is VA3 CJZ. Anyone, anywhere, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. And so with that, it's time to wrap it up. One more successful AREG net under our belt. And so it was great having you all aboard and saying hello and telling us how your week has been, or weeks. And so with that, we're going to wrap it up and say, hope to hear you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And tonight we had 18 check-ins along with check-ins from YouTube. And so those of you that want to listen to our net afterwards that might have missed something, just put in my call in the YouTube search, VA3CJZ. And tonight our net was called AREG Week 1581. And so you're welcome to look that up and listen to us then. Until then, I'll say 7-3 to all, and Happy New Year, a prosperous, healthy, and happy 2024. I wish upon all of you. Take care and good night. VA3 CJZ.